You that some of the richest Americans in history never had a bank account? No credit cards, no loans, no debt? Yet they owned land, businesses, and freedom? Here's the shocking truth. This is exactly how millions of Americans built real wealth less than 150 years ago. What if I told, and what they knew about money? It might explain why so many people today work harder than ever, yet feel poorer. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you may never look at money the same way again. In America that feels unfamiliar, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine America in the early 1800s. No Wall Street headlines, no stock apps, no interest rates on the news. Instead, dirt roads, small towns, family businesses, handwritten contracts. Most people were not rich. But here's the difference. They were not trapped. They didn't wake up stressed about monthly payments. They didn't owe their future to institutions they couldn't see. Money was simple. And because it was simple, it was powerful. Why early Americans didn't trust banks? This might surprise you. Banks were feared in early America. Not because people were ignorant, but because they were experienced. Banks failed often. Paper money collapsed. Savings vanished overnight. When a bank failed, there was no bailout. There's no safety net, no second chance. So people learned a hard rule. If you don't control your money, someone else will. The old American money mindset before banks controlled money, Americans followed unwritten rules that shaped generations. Ownership over comfort. People bought things only after they could afford them. If you wanted land, you saved. If you wanted tools, you earned. If you wanted security, you worked patiently. It was pride in ownership and shame and unnecessary debt. Today, we reverse that order. Skills were wealth in early America. A man with a skill was never poor. A blacksmith, a carpenter, a farmer, a tailor. Skills fed families. Skills created trade. Skills built communities. Money could disappear. Skills never did. That's why early wealth was resilient, not flashy. Reputation was currency. There were no credit scores. Your name was your credit. If you lied, your business died. If you cheated, your future vanished. Trust held communities together. Trust created economic stability. The panics that changed everything America didn't glide smoothly into prosperity. It stumbled. It collapsed. Financial panics in the 1800s wiped out banks and fortunes. But here's the twist. The people who survived were not the richest. They were the most prepared. Those who owned land, tools, skills, community, trust, they rebuilt faster. They recovered stronger. How ordinary Americans actually built wealth? Let's talk about real people. Not elites, not bankers, just ordinary Americans. Farmers' land was wealth, not speculation, not numbers on paper. Food production meant survival. Ownership meant security. Craftsmen won skill. Perfected over years, they charged fairly, stayed patiently, expanded slowly. No hype, no leverage, just consistency. Small business owners, local shops thrived because they knew their customers, avoided reckless expansion, reinvested profits carefully. They didn't chase scale. They chased stability. The moment everything shifted. By the late 1800s, something changed. Money became centralized, abstract, easier to borrow. Debt stopped being shameful. It became normal. And then came the turning point. 1913, the birth of the modern financial system. From that moment on, money lost its physical meaning. Debt became institutionalized. Control moved upward quietly, legally, permanently. The biggest lie about modern wealth. Modern society teaches more money means more freedom. History says something else. Or control means more freedom. Early Americans had less money, but more independence. Modern people have more money, but less control. It's not an accident. Why this story matters today? Look around. People today earn more than ever, work longer hours, carry constant stress. Why? Because wealth today is built on borrowed money, endless payments, future promises. Early Americans built wealth on ownership, patience, reality, the timeless lesson. History doesn't shout, it whispers. And what it whispers is this: wealth is not about how much you make. It's about how much control you keep. Before banks controlled money, Americans controlled their lives. How you can apply this today: you don't need to reject modern systems. But you can adopt old wisdom, build skills, reduce unnecessary debt, value ownership, Think long-term. Choose independence over comfort. This isn't nostalgia. It's a strategy. Final twist cliffhanger. Here's the question history leaves us with. If Americans once built wealth without banks, and if the rules of human behavior haven't changed, then what if the problem isn't money at all? But how are we taught to think about it? If this story made you pause, if it challenged what you believe about money, comment below. Do you think old money wisdom beats modern finance? Like this video if you believe real wealth is built, not borrowed. Subscribe to Finance TED Official for more stories they never taught you in school. Because sometimes, the future is hidden in the past.